Does Nutrafol actually work? It's the number one question I get when I talk about Nutrafol, the number one hair growth supplement. Yes, it works. They wouldn't be going on nearly 3 years of advertising with the Sarah Fraser show if you guys weren't buying and coming back month after month. Take the first step to get visibly thicker, healthier hair right now for a limited time. Nutrafol is offering my listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and you enter the promo code TSFS. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and hairstylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, that's spelled Nutrafol.com with the promo code TSFS. Nutrafol, you want to use that promo code TSFS because it's the number one dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement. I love it. You'll see results in 1 to 3 months. I've been using it for years. Help my postpartum hair grow longer. Go to Nutrafol.com today and use the promo code TSFS. I'm on a quest to have a second healthy baby, and that means I'm not putting any toxins, any fragrances in my body, and that's where Caraway Home cookware and their Tupperware come into play. Right now, when you use my code TSFS at carawayhome.com, you get 10% off. I'm sure you're like, Sarah, what are you talking about? Well, Caraway products are non-toxic. That means they have no PFAs, PTFEs, those forever chemicals that are extremely hard to pronounce. And I just ordered their storage containers in navy. Oh, and hello, they don't have any toxic chemicals either. Don't believe me? Go and read their 5-star reviews. Over 65,000 people have rated them 5 stars. Visit carawayhome.com/TSFS to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive to Sarah Fraser Show listeners, so support my show and visit carawayhome.com/TSFS or use code TSFS at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern.
What is going on?
I'm so excited to be here. I've listened to you guys for 2 years. I've listened to the podcast. I listen to you all the time. So it's so exciting to get in touch with you and to be on as a guest. It's so nice.
Well,
we both follow you online. Sarah, start with how you came to us. I know you guys connected.
I adore you. And for anyone that doesn't follow you, you popped off on TikTok and I love it. You just call out sort of the craziness of this world. You do amazing work in raising awareness for people that are anti-Semitic. And I just think it's a scary time. And by helping our Jewish friends, it doesn't mean that you don't recognize that, of course, nobody wants war. We want peace everywhere. Everybody has the right to have a great place. But what is happening to Jewish people is scary. And your videos are just so poignant. I love the work. People should check you out if they don't. And you just make it funny. I mean, you talk about being gay and just some of the, and I think where I connect to you, and then we'll get into our topics, but I think we're all about having people have rights, but some of this woke stuff has just gone so bananas. And I appreciate a voice like yours that I think you are completely for. I mean, everybody having rights and love and all that. But I think you see some of the craziness that people are out there. And thank you for doing it. So I love it.
No,
and I'm honored that you're even a fan of ours.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
I know. Thank you for listening to us.
Absolutely. I've been doing stand-up comedy for about 15 years. I just recently moved to the United States. I'm Canadian, but I've been living in Europe for the past 12 years. So my career has mainly been in Europe. And over the past few years, I've sort of been visiting Israel because I lived in Berlin and there were lots of Israelis that live in Berlin. And so I became friends with people from Israel and I started going and doing shows there. And I've built sort of a following there and made lots of Israeli friends. And as the years went by, I sort of forgot that people had such a different concept of what life was like in Israel and information about the conflict that they just don't really have. And so after October 7th, I was just really shocked to see the reaction of some of my friends. Of course, war is always a tragedy. We don't want war. We don't want civilians to be hurt in war. But it just sort of shocked me that people couldn't really grasp the fact that Hamas is a terrorist organization. It's not a resistance movement. It doesn't represent the Palestinian people. It oppresses the Palestinian people. It's like it's a genocidal death cult. Like it's a sick group of psychopaths. And this war was started by them. It's not some sort of movement to free the Palestinian people. It's a very scary thing. And so to see people's reactions to it after October 7th, like I was in Israel just a week before the attack, and I had friends posting things like, Palestine has the right to defend itself. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like if I had been there and I was kidnapped or murdered, would you think that was okay? Like this is terrorism. And so what I've learned over the past little while doing this advocacy is that there are basic facts about Israel that people do not know, and also that people are seem to be unwilling to learn. People think that Israel is this apartheid state. No, 20% of Israel is Arab, either Muslim or Christian. It's a multicultural society. All those people have equal rights in Israel. Also in terms of colonialism, Israel is not a colonialist state. It's a refugee state. There's so many things that people have just completely misunderstood and misperceived about Israel. And that's because of a concerted effort to put out misinformation. And it's scary. And what I've learned is that anti-Semitism isn't like other sorts of forms of hate. Obviously, all hate, all prejudice is wrong, but anti-Semitism is special in the fact that it's very ancient. Like we're talking about thousands and thousands
when
of
Christ
years
was
old.
born. Yes.
And this has been, anti-Semitism is a tool. It's a tool that people use the same way the Nazis used it. It's a tool that people use for ideological changes. It's this kind of hate that's like a blinding hate. It gives people this roller coaster of hate. And it's both kicking down, but it's also kicking up. Anti-Semitic tropes are very conspiratorial. It's always this idea of why are they so influential? Why do they have so much money? And it's this very long-standing thing because for thousands of years, Jews have been persecuted. They try to kill them, and then they find a way to survive. If they're not allowed to, own land, if the only thing they can do is banking, then they succeed at banking. So all of these barriers that Jews have had to go through for thousands of years has made them, successful. And that's one of the things people say, like, you hate us because we're successful. But it's because it's like, and it just adds to this vicious cycle of hate that Jews find themselves in. And that's, one of the reasons why Israel exists is that we need a place for Jewish people to be safe. And so basically, this is something that a lot of people are thinking about. A lot of people are concerned about. A lot of people in Hollywood, a lot of people in media, they're terrified to talk about this because it's a scary topic. And the voices against Israel and against Jews right now, it's very much intimidating. It's scary, and people have a lot of passion, a lot of rage for war. And yeah, I also don't want war,
Sure.
But we have to understand that this war is not against the Palestinian people; it's against Hamas, and I think it's time that people start speaking up, and because this is only going to get worse, especially with social media and with TikTok, with the fact that we've created this algorithm that pushes people further into this algorithm and this echo chamber where they're only hearing information from people that they agree with. We have to we have to acknowledge facts, and we have to acknowledge reality, and we have to taper down the extremism, because extremism is really what ends up destroying societies. When we fracture and we only care about one group of people, that is when we become radicalized. I care about Palestinians. If you want to have an event, a charity event, anything, if you want to spread awareness, I applaud you. I would never in a million years do a counter protest to that. But when you support Israel or support Jews or talk about the hostages or talk about October 7th, people are met with such a wave of hate and resistance, and it's not okay, especially when it comes to the hostages. There's 130 people who are being held hostage by terrorists, and it's not okay. We can't live in a society where terrorism is normal. This is people from 21 different countries, 5 different religions. This is not just an Israeli issue. This is a global humanitarian crisis. And so I'm really trying my best to talk about the hostages, because if you want the war to end, you should also be supporting the hostages and calling for their release. So this should be a completely bipartisan issue, and supporting the hostage families. But these people have been met with dead silence. I am the only celebrity who would even do a and I'm not even a celebrity. I just moved to the United States.
Well, wow. Michael Rappaport has been very outspoken and has gotten a lot of hate. Before we do get into all of the Bravo stuff, which we're about to get into.
There needs to be more. We need to support the hostage families, and we can't live in a society where terrorism is normalized. We can't.
Absolutely.
We're going to fall apart.
Thank you
I agree with
for
you.
that. Yes, we do. And now, yes, we're totally with you and agree, and we appreciate that so much. And now we get to switch gears and talk about Bravo.
Yes.
So you get to
absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, where do we begin with our Bravo? I mean, there's so much. But yes to everything you said. I could not agree with it more. Yes. I am the actual Jewish person standing here. So, I mean, it is yes, I will. Yes, and yes. Do we have to start with Kyle and Morgan Wade today?
Yes.
Do we have to?
Because I'm curious,
these girls,
if Daniel Ryan thinks that we're queer baited or not. But Kyle did, obviously this past week, Morgan removed pictures of the selfies of she and Kyle together, and paparazzi caught up with Kyle this week in Beverly Hills, and Kyle says it's just because she's going to drop new music. A lot of artists do that, and that is why she's doing it. So I'm curious what you two think.
Well, in general, I have a hard time understanding lesbian dynamics, but I think I'm a little confused because I think Kyle is confused. I think that I'm not entirely sure about the dynamic between them. I think that maybe sometimes women end up in this sort of friendship that sort of blurs the line into romance. Okay. And I think it might be in sort of this gray, confusing space. But I do think that Kyle is not just platonically friends with her. Like, I do think that they have... absolutely, the way she looks at her when she sings, and it's clear to me that there is definitely something going on there. But I don't know how far it's gone. I don't know if she's necessarily aware of it. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm just so over it. I really am just over this whole thing. I want this season of Beverly Hills to be over.
Oh, wow. Really? You weren't into Merce in the Purse over in Barcelona?
Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm into Merce in the Purse. I have some shocking things to say about Annemarie coming up. I'm very into Drunk Erika.
Yeah.
But I am just, I don't think Kyle's really aware of it. I think whether something has happened or not, I think she's in love with her. I saw that video last week or whatever with TMZ where she's like, she has new music coming out. She has a new project. Every artist does that. I mean, Madonna did do it. She scraped her entire Instagram for the celebration tour.
All right.
But I mean, Give me a break, okay? Give me a break. I think these two know what they're doing. I think it's queer baiting. I think Kyle, like you said, I don't think she's aware of it. I think she's in love with her. And I just don't care anymore. I'm really over it. I would
Yeah.
rather talk about Kim and Croy, to be honest with you.
Oh my God, really? Oh,
yes.
Those two. Ugh.
Anything.
Okay, look, I still can't figure it out. I don't know. One day I think that they've hooked up. I do agree with you both that I think Kyle is in love with Morgan in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. You know, we saw Nene Leakes do this. There's still rumors. I just talked to a source this like a couple days ago who says that producers are talking to Nene about RHOA. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that could be true, but Nene did the same thing with all her Bethany stuff and removed it, right? So maybe, but
and then it was removed from Bethany's. Right. I guess like if you post it and tag the person and then you archive it, like Morgan archived it. So I guess it's still there. And then I guess it's removed from the other person's. I mean, by the way, I don't know what source or where you read this,
yeah,
but
what do you think?
do not think. No, I don't think Nene Leakes can come back to RHOA. I just don't.
She's
By the way, she's heading to Lifetime.
Radio personality. Okay. All right.
I don't know what's going on at Lifetime. Her and Denise Richards are in a new movie about like 4 killer housewives or something. Tom Sandoval has a Lifetime movie coming out. Ariana was in. I mean, Lifetime is just like, let me get a hold of these. But Nene Leakes in a scripted movie with Denise Richards. Sign me up. I mean,
me too.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Good for Nene. I think she can work, and I think she just hosted, what was that, like Bad Girls Club reunion or some show that I don't really watch. I don't know who watches it, but good for Nene for getting work. But I just don't think it's going to be on Bravo on the Housewives. I really don't.
Yeah, it's a real tricky thing when an actress or an actor sues a network. That's really. I've had friends fired from TV shows for being pregnant. And I told my friend, I was like, why wouldn't you sue them? And she was like, yeah, good luck. Like, I'd never work again in this city. So I don't know. I think there's potential for Nene, especially in terms of creating something on her own.
That's what we've always said.
I think she's strong enough to carry her own show.
We've said the same thing, but when she was on Bethany's podcast, you know, Nene is waiting for someone to come to her to produce that, to do that, because we said the same thing, like, launch your own podcast. Like, that's the beauty. You don't need anybody. You could be self-distributing. She'd have the #1 show. But it sounds to me like she either doesn't want to do that, doesn't know how to do that. She feels that a network, and she said she's been approached by many networks to launch her own podcast, and then at the end of it, or right before they're supposed to do a deal, nothing happens.
Right.
Well, the deal is not much. The deal is like, prove yourself and then there'll be money.
It's true. Mm-hmm. It's true.
That's how the podcast world works.
Okay, but you had said something about Annemarie. So Annemarie Wiley was on Watch What Happens Live this week. A lot of people talking about her. Okay, well, what did you think of that? I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. Andy asked her about the Anesthesiologists of America commenting on her, which she thought was fake at first, because she's like, why is this big organization commenting on my comments or my degrees? Then the nurses,
welcome to Housewives.
Nurses of anesthesiologists stood up for her. So I thought that was like an interesting back and forth. And then she apparently says she doesn't want to hear the word esophagus ever again, and she has repeatedly apologized to Sutton. Thoughts?
Go on.
Okay, so I think that anytime a housewife enters mid-season, it's a very tricky thing. It could go one way or the other. Sonia, I believe, entered mid-season, huge success. Catherine entered mid-season, did not go well.
My buddy.
I love Catherine too.
Listen, she'll be the first. She'll be the first one to say, "I sucked as a housewife, David." You know?
I think that she came in and tried to overcompensate, and she overplayed her hand. We didn't get enough character building. We didn't get to like her. We didn't get to see some of her vulnerabilities. Usually, once we kind of like someone, then we can kind of accept them as being messy, a bit of a villain, a bit of a bitch. But I think that she came in wanting to impress Kyle, wanting to get in there. For me, she kind of ruined the dinner party from hell #2. Like, it was way too much about her. I would have been happier if they had paid a little more for Camille Grammer to be in this season, or allowed Denise, or, you know, given Denise a little more, a couple more episodes. I would have preferred one of the existing women that we already know, as opposed to bringing in Annemarie.
I'm the only one.
Camille.
Okay, go on. I'm the only one that Annemarie doesn't bother me. I'm like, I don't even understand.
No. This is my big revelation. You know, there's something about me when someone becomes an underdog. I start to really, liked Diana Jenkins. I didn't hate her. And now, okay, like might be a strong word. I don't think she was right for the show, but I really didn't hate her. I have to say, slowly. Now, mind you, Annemarie is on a press tour because she has done every interview in the entire world in the past 2 weeks. So Girlfriend is like, her team is like, get out there and get your name known. She's slowly starting. I think I've been too hard on Annemarie. That's what I want to say.
I love Annemarie.
I actually think she has a chance of coming back. I think she's doing the job. Andy says, wait till the Spain trip. I mean, the Spain trip has come and gone. So it helped her. Like, is in there. I do think she came in way too hot. I think she is thirsty to make her mark and have a moment. A little fame hungry, probably, which I don't like. But she's slowly growing on me. She's slowly growing on me, this Annemarie. The more people hate her universally, the more I'm starting to see she's speaking up and she's doing the job. So I'm thinking maybe, Sarah, I'm starting to see your point of view on this one.
I don't dislike her at all. And I mean, Sutton gives people so much shit. She does so many things where she, like, you know, I mean, that famous scene where Dorit's just been robbed and, you know, she comes in and she goes, oh, but my clothes from Paris haven't arrived or some shit. I mean, it's like, Is it really that terrible that Annemarie is questioning her eating and, like, you probably don't have a real esophagus thing? And we're never going to find out if that's true or not because clearly people don't have to disclose their health issues. I really hope she can. I hope she can bring a level of, she has a high career, a career that does take a lot of education, a lot of practice. And I feel like I hope Annemarie can learn some lessons from the professor, who I think we wanted professor. I think we wanted the professor to stay.
Professor.
We wanted Wendy Osefo to sort of have like a level of,
intellect.
Right. Yeah. And I hope
she did season 1.
Right. I hope Annemarie doesn't lose that as we go on.
One thing I will give her credit for was that, to your point about Sutton I feel like Sutton gives a lot of shit, but she also gets a lot of shit because Sutton is authentically herself. And she's very easily rattled. And they bully her. They know that they're going to get a reaction out of her because she is so authentic and in the moment and has no self-awareness. She's not a calculated person like some of them. Kyle is a calculated person. So I do, and I think Annemarie is also calculated, but I like the fact that she switched her focus from Sutton to Crystal. Because Crystal is like having a dynamic with Crystal and because Crystal has a lot of Kyle in her. Crystal has a lot of
she's calculated.
She's very calculated. I think she was like probably, well, anyway, I shouldn't say anything negative about Crystal. I love Crystal, but I do
say
see
something negative.
We trash everybody.
I do. I can see like the mean girl quality in her and her ability to put out information, to repeat things that other people said and sort of twist it a little bit and misportray what people said. She's gossipy in that way. So I'm glad that at least Annemarie focused her attention on Crystal in terms of stirring up some drama.
There is such a double standard there because like Kyle just did some interview and they asked her, they said, well, let's watch this. It was Erika's clip on Watch What Happens of saying like, to Andy, I hope that you eviscerate everyone at the reunion. And she was talking about Kyle and she's like, you eviscerated me when it was about Tom. And it really was towards Kyle. Kyle saw that and was like, okay, and I understand, and we did go hard. And I'm just like, well, if Sutton said this about you to Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens, that she hopes you're eviscerated at the reunion, you have to answer for all this fake bullshit with Morgan and Mauricio and all this. This would be like World War III if Sutton said this. Erika says it, and Kyle's like, okay, well, she literally went on to say she's a great friend. She's been there for me. So it's like, I don't know. I don't even know what. That's not even an answer to anything you just said. I just had to get that off my chest. Okay.
No, it's true. Erika gets away with a lot.
She's having such a good season, though.
She is. Yeah, I love.
She is, but she earned it. But also, she
redemption season.
It's a redemption season.
Hilarious. Go on.
No. Finish because I was going to say, now that we're talking about EJ, I wanted to see what you guys thought of Housewife and the Hustler Part 2.
Well, I also just wanted to say about Annemarie, like, other than the one initial scene, like, have her scenes alone been cut, and is she being phased out because of Marcus and all the, allegations against him? Where are her alone scenes? Where are they? I mean, you think about it, you even see Crystal has her brother, she has Rob, and she has that. I mean, obviously it's produced. They say to Crystal, okay, your housekeeper, she's interesting, throw her in there. Sutton, obviously, Avi. I mean, that's like so produced. I mean, he's real, but it's like, okay, this is Sutton's all alone. What are we going to film you with a cat? Okay, let's film you with Avi. Where are her alone scenes? We get tons of Dorit and PK and Jaga. Yeah. It's like, that is what's really strange to me of like, I don't know what happened to her alone scenes. I mean, to your point, Daniel, that's why we're not getting to know her.
Yeah. I think she's going the way of Diane Jenkins, I think.
Wait,
well, if that's the case, this cast needs a change. I think
you do.
It's highly rated. The only thing higher rated right now than it is Vanderpump Rules. Vanderpump got a 1.3. This got like a 1.1. I don't know. Maybe they won't change it up. I mean, here I go again, as usual, mid-season, making predictions that, I mean, what's the point of all that?
All right, I have one more question, then we'll do some other Beverly Hills stuff. But
I'm like a little bored. I don't know. Go on.
No, I agree.
But can I just say one thing?
Yeah,
I like the fact that it's a little more low risk this season. I'm happy with a nice light season, like something like a season. I needed a season 6. It was getting so dark with Lisa Rinna, and when it comes to people's marriages and sister relationships where families are being broken up, like, it was so dark. And also the stuff with Erika where it was getting into true crime almost. I needed like a breather, and I'm okay with, it's sort of, for me, this is like a reset season.
I was just gonna say a reset. That's a totally what. Yeah, me too. And like, I do like a season where it's everyone. Wait, Crystal is fighting with Annemarie right now. Wait, Crystal's fighting with Dorit. Like, that's happening. Yeah. This is like, I really like, Erika and Sutton and Kyle are having a bonding moment. Yeah. Like,
they needed that alliance broken up. It was that alliance was just awful. The Kyle, Erika, Dorit, Rinna. It was just they were the mean girls of Beverly Hills.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like I love when like Erika's out at the classic cat with Sutton and Garcelle. Like, I love when the dynamics change. So yeah. But so what is this, Sarah?
Well,
Housewife and Hustler part 2?
Yeah. Okay. So part 2 is coming of this. Daniel, did you watch part 1, Housewife and the Hustler?
Not only did I watch part 1, I had a viewing party with 15 friends
in New York City, and you did not invite
I was living in Berlin at the time, so I was there, and some of my friends didn't know what was happening.
They were like, "Who are these people?"
I sprung it on them. But for me, Housewife and the Hustler, the first one was like, I was fascinated by it, but it was also very serious and very dark. I like that this one seems to be a little more. We're getting more into. Like, the first one was informative, and it was about the victims, and it was about how much pain Tom Girardi had inflicted on these people. But this one, I like that it's a little more sensational. It looks like it's going to be more about Erika's role in it. and about her, like, this is also the fact that she participated in it is part of this PR strategy to rehabilitate her image.
Okay, but this is my question to both of you. You know, Daniel, you're in the entertainment business too. I mean, doesn't this seem odd? I mean, first of all, Erika must be getting paid, right? I mean, to do this, she's sitting down with the victims. And how did she get in touch? Is anyone else confused? Like, how did she get in touch with the producers? That the first half, they pretty much make her look like guilty with Tom and how awful Tom is, and they add on to all of her misery of what maybe she knew or didn't know. And then now it's like she's suddenly going to, I mean, she's sitting down at the table. I don't know what to say. I want to hear you. I mean, wait, is anyone else like lost how we got here?
She, so I had heard some podcast interviews with one of the ladies who is advocating for the victims. She's been on Heather McDonald's podcast.
She's going to be on another podcast that you know very well, Sue.
Oh, fantastic.
Possibly.
But
Sarah's like, what?
Erika made an effort to reach out.
So forget about Heather McDonald.
Sorry.
It's okay.
But Erika has been trying to, and I don't know if this is necessarily a strategy or as if it's something that she wants to do just for her own, like, you know, for her own spiritual sake, but she's been making an effort to reach out to these people and try to have some sort of, the thing is, what I'm not sure about is how much of it was her legal team holding her back from doing that.
Oh, that's a good point too.
You're just listen, I have nothing against Erika, but I mean, I have to be honest, you know, I take no sides. This is why people call me a flip-flopper. I just don't think it's the legal team. I think it's like, I don't buy it. I think this was, look, I mean, I was in the Randall scandal. Lala was in that. It is different, but I mean, I can tell you she got paid. So yes, Erika got paid for this. I think I don't feel any authenticity from Erika in meeting the victims, promising all sorts of things. I mean, there's a camera there. Here's the question, which maybe will get answered soon on the podcast. I mean, has Erika followed up? Was there promises made to the victims? Have you accomplished all these things? Really? No? What was that? I just think it's I don't think it's authentic. That's just me.
Well, she did say, what were the famous words? I don't give about anyone else but me.
You could swear.
She said it.
My EJ. I love Daniel, are you a fan? I'm a huge fan of EJ's. I was initially. I think that she can get into a very dark headspace, and she can be very cruel sometimes. And she, like Catherine Edwards said this once, where she does this sort of like, I'm a broad, like almost like this Mae West kind of attitude.
That is exactly what Catherine
Edwards just kind of, it falls so flat and it just doesn't work. But at the same time, I'm a gay man and we love, you know, a comeback story. We love an exaggerated diva. There are things that I think about her. I think she has aspects to her that are fantastic. We don't live in a world where everyone is a Disney character, where they're entirely good and entirely evil.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, so that is what it is. And I think she's definitely a captivating person. And I've enjoyed watching her on the show.
My gayness takes over with Erika sometimes too. It definitely does. It just like, I have blinders on. I'm just like, fabulous starlight.
I know.
And then I come back. It's like, I'm like mixed on Erika a lot.
In Barcelona.
I think that'll be a TV movie or a limited series I would like to watch. The Girardis.
Oh, me too.
Well, you're going to get to watch a limited series about her in Vegas. I mean, I went to the Vegas show. I mean, they're bringing it to Bravo. I think it's like 2, 3 episodes, 4 episodes.
Wow.
There he is, Daniel Ryan Spaulding. I'm a fan, and it's even more fun to find out that someone you admire their comedy online is then a fan of yours and loves Housewives. Daniel will be back with us tomorrow. David Yontif, Daniel Ryan Spaulding, and I break down breaking news about RHONY. Is the new season casting? Everything we know about Housewife and The Hustler Part 2 and Erika's much anticipated meeting with the victims of Tom Girardi. David has some inside scoop on that. And then, of course, more RHOBH, including could Rena be back or a Melrose Place star, former Melrose Place star joining the cast. That's tomorrow on TSFS. Bye, everybody.